Good evening and welcome everybody to WOR. We are here for round 8 of the mystery season. Apologies, I've flown in late. I wasn't meant to be here, if you remember the rightly from the end of last stream, but I'm here. Bobbert, welcome. Yeah, it's me and you again. How are you? How are you getting on? How are you excited for this race tonight?
I mean, people might think it is you. It could be a fraud. We don't know that. It could be, a twin that we don't know of. But no, this is the real order. How am I? Yes, doing pretty well. Obviously, was getting ready to go on to do this on Twitch, thinking, that you not here and nobody else was potentially available. I was on course for doing a solo stream, but no, appreciate obviously you coming and doing this even though you didn't have to. So no, it's good that the duo is back for the round 8 of this mystery season, and what a treat we have tonight. I mean, we weren't right with our predictions once again, but yeah, a legendary famous circuit that we have for good and bad reasons, but it is the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix for us this evening.
Yeah, it's got so much history about it, like you quite rightly say as well, with good and bad. It's another track up there with Silverstone, Spa. Pretty much know most of the corner names. I know there's a couple that actually don't have names to them at all, but it's such an iconic track, and I'm glad we get to see it on this mystery season circuit. It does mean there's a few tracks that will be missing out. Obviously, we've had 8 now. It means China, Austria, Brazil, Belgium, Abu Dhabi, Mexico, Singapore, or Saudi Arabia will miss out. But some, I would love to see Brazil and Belgium be ticked off that list. But obviously, you've got I know you're a fan of China. Austria is a good track as well. Mexico has its moments. Some big tracks are going to miss out this season.
And that's just the beauty of a shortened season, is that we don't know what we're going to get, and what tracks will make the cut, what tracks are going to miss out. I mean, some tracks didn't even make the list to begin with, so they were gone from the before the word go, as it were. So, but it's good to see. Obviously, Imola is here for this season at least. Like I said, some fantastic corners, some great named corners, none the least. We got Tamburello, you got Villeneuve, Tosa, Piratella, just to name the first half of the track. There's plenty more to come, of which we would like to show you. We're still waiting on one driver, and I'm not 100% certain who that is, but we seem to be waiting about an age, and at this rate I'll be 34, and unfortunately, Warder, you'll be older again at this rate. This is going, so yes, no comment. Probably for good reason. Either way, hopefully we can get going very soon to the short qualifying session, and then 32 hopefully eventful racing laps. I mean, if last week was a slight slow burner, but we got the action that we wanted, especially as well the safety cars. We are now going, and Volokongan making it 2 wins from 4 races, and is a slight outsider and still has a slim chance of taking maybe an unlikely championship, but it is Uncle that still leads the way. 22 points is his advantage over both Snack and Silo, who took victory last time out. And the question is, can Tony hang on? I mean, it wasn't a great race for him last week, so he's got to bounce back.
Definitely, Tony has to. No other words to describe it. The pressure's on. Silo and Snack, two very tricky customers in their own right. But the last time WR had a mystery season, Volokongan was the champion. Could we have back-to-back Volokongan mystery champion? Imagine that on your resume. I'm sure Volokongan will be pushing that. But Volokongan missed a few races to be that high up. I know we spoke pre-race or pre-stream about this. It's an incredible feat from Volokongan with what they've managed to produce this season.
Exactly, yeah. He's missed the first 3 races. He's joined in from round 4 onwards for the next 4, and his worst finishing result has been 5th, and he's got two victories and a 3rd place in that in those 4 races. And like I said, yes, his 2 victories have come with the help of a safety car. Let's But either way, you've still got to get the job done, and he has done. You know, he held off Snack at Hungary to get the victory there, and he did the same again last week at Spain as well. So yeah, let's not rule him out. You know, he's still got to keep this form going to have any sort of chance. He is the ranked outsider out of, I'd say, the four that are left to potentially, win this championship. But Uncle, apart from last week, has, as we know, been the man on form, and he would love to get back to, if not winning ways, at least a podium result. But obviously, speaking of, as obviously Volokongan is out on track, he will be the first, well, as at the time being at least, the first driver to set a lap time as everyone now starts to roll out the pits.
I suppose with that we should go trackside for this here and make sure I actually click on the right screen to get over to us and see Volokongan heading up the hill to Piratella, which is turn 9 of this Imola Grand Prix. And assuming, because there is more than likely a chance to get a fourth qualifying lap out at a track like Imola, we'll be seeing that restart in the middles, because where we don't have hard tyre compounds in this mystery season, they're going to run out of tyre options on the pit wall if they don't have that restart, I think.
Indeed, they will, and yes, obviously, at least for the driver's sake, they do have that option to, still go hell for leather, go and do 4 runs, and still be able to, like you said, have all the tyre selections to, for the race itself when we restart again. But we're on board with last week's winner, Volokongan, as he starts his first flying lap. Hopefully that McLaren that's come out of the pits has seen him, and indeed has done so. So riding on board with the tyre whisperers, I'll still call him, through Tamburello, now a little bit unsettled there, but at least has kept the car going in the right direction, flicking the car left through Villeneuve, downshifts to 6th and then 5th gear before getting back on the power into Tosa corner. Heavy braking zone. We've seen obviously Lewis Hamilton go off here in real life, though, so obviously in no much trickier conditions than what the drivers are going to be dealing with tonight. Up the hill through Piratella, one corner where you can easily track extend it on the exit there. No problems for Volokongan, though. Just want to take it easy on this first flying lap through Aqua Minerale now and again up the hill. Get back on the power. A little bit of a short shift there. The car seemed to complain a little bit for traction as we start the final sector through Variante Alta. You can easily cut that corner, but you can easily cut it too much and straight line it, and that's again your lap gone. Certainly something to watch out for in the race. Down the hill into the technically, as I call it, the last 2 proper couple of corners, that is through Ravazza 1 and 2, just about keeping it within the white line there on the exit. Technically this is Variante Bassa, the final corner. It's not really a corner though, let's be honest. It's a 13.5 from Volokongan, a safe lap to make sure that he at least has a time on the board.
Good start, and just going on board with Finley. There's 2 cars at Aqua Minerale there who could very well have been a little bit off-putting for the Shazoo driver heading through there, and another Ferrari going past of Wards will fit through. Who else can we go on board with? I think Misha is now through Aqua Minerale themselves, and times are coming in. Uncle again qualifying, seeming to struggle with overall pace as Snack goes quickest of all with a 1:13.2, which is 3/10 of a second, 3.5 of a second quicker than Volokongan. Quantum also did make that jump into provisional pole before Snacks just set the world alight there. And Otsazito down into 6th place. Silo only managing 3rd, which again slower than Quantum's. Quantum's 1 lap pace has been pretty impressive this season.
Yeah, he certainly seems to have stepped up a notch somewhat. Has Quantum with his 1 lap pace. It's that race pace that just is still slightly lacking a little bit, but I'm sure with a man of his high caliber and quality, he'll be able to improve on that, and it's something that he'll look to in the new, when the let's just say the update of the game comes out, as that is Max van der Geest that I was on board with, spinning through Villeneuve, and get a nice full demonstration there, not one as the car being very unsettled, being tail happy, and easily just losing the back end. But another man who's obviously been very good in qualifying all season has been Snack. I mean, the amount of times he has been up towards the top of the timing sheets this season has been unreal, and once again he is showing that his 1 lap pace is certainly second to none.
It's great to see a name that isn't, and this is no disrespect to Silo. It should be even more respect to Silo. That it's not Silo we're seeing constantly at the top of the list on qualifying, as Tech Brutal now just coming out of the pits, followed closely by Kevin Zuckerberg in 19th and 20th respectively. I think they did go out initially, but I think they messed up their lap times. As I think I do need an update on the game, because there's I thought I'd fixed the hot air coming out of the back of the cars, but apparently it's come back with a little bit of a vengeance today. So I do apologise for that one. Tech Brutal. Sorry, that's where my brain was before all this. Obviously, a little bit of heartache in the last time we had this mystery season in WOR. Hasn't really hit the dizzy heights since, but still showing good pace.
Yeah, it's been a poor season for Tech, I think, we'll be honest. And I think by his own standards, it has not been a good one at all. I think he'll want to get this season done with, out of the way, and move on to the next one. I mean, he's down. Where is he? He's down at P16 in the championship, only 10 points, which he picked up last time out in Spain, as he immediately corner cut to the very start of his lap. So that's this attempt certainly got out the window. In fact, actually, now that I say about that, he DNF'd for the first 3 races, didn't make the next 3, then came back, and did at least get a 5th place and has some points on the board. But yes, certainly a season to forget for the former champion. See if there's anyone else out on track. Is that somebody else spinning that I've just seen? Yes, it is, and it's Finley. And in fact, he's gone one better than Max van der Geest. He's managed to spin it at Tamburello, and is actually crashed, and he's out of qualifying. So Finley, who was impeded last week in qualifying, crashes out to his own accord this week. And another driver who I think will want to forget this season in a heartbeat.
Such a shame for Finley. Has had a pretty poor season, I think, by their own, again, high standards that a lot of these guys have in WOR. Epic Vale's just gone through at Verante Alta and hopped over those curbs absolutely lovely. And you're right, if they cut too much, and the Ferrari just ahead, I think that's Ward's, possibly holding them up through turn 17 there. That could be detrimental to Epic Vale's initial lap time. I wonder if there's going to be a little bit of a payback going into Tamburello, or if they're just going to hold off. And that's a very odd line there from Epic Vale.
I'll be honest, I wasn't watching it. I was busy on board with Olakongan, as you were saying that. And but I'll certainly take your word for it. Everybody else will certainly have seen that, as Volakongan comes through the final couple of corners. Ray Wintz goes into P4. Volakongan goes back up into P3 with a 13.444 to do that, and immediately been displaced by his Williams teammate. Avozito now goes onto the front row with a 0.2 of his own. Snack still currently leads the way, but has invalidated his latest attempt, so he will not be going quicker, as has Quantum. Uncle has now gone into P5, but still nothing setting the world alight. Silo, though, nearly 2/10 up come the end of the middle sector, and if there's more time to be found in this final sector, can certainly get back onto the front row, maybe even challenge his SCI teammate for pole position here through the final couple of proper corners. That is Rivatsa 1 and 2 to the line now for Silo. In fact, it's only P3. Didn't find there's enough time there in the final sector, but at least gets himself ahead of Quantum.
Another Shazoo driver, which we haven't or barely touched on, unfortunately for them, is Dirk. Yet to set a lap time again, invalidated that lap time, as has Max van der Geest. Again, that's not ideal for those guys right now. Uncle, a P6. This is not the sort of qualifying that they needed in this one. They need to really pull out all the stops and stop the rot a little bit in this season, because it's not been. They've had to really work their socks off to make points this second half of the season. Yeah,
points seem to be becoming a bit of an issue for a number of drivers, but yeah, as you mentioned with Dirk, it's just it's not been the season he would have wanted. I mean, yes, he's had a win. He got that at Baku. He had a podium at the second round as well. So it seemed to be like he was doing a decent job. But since then, it's been a 6th, a 10th, a 13th, and then no points last week. It's, yeah, not been a good one for Dirk, who we obviously know last season had won a few races and actually was challenging for the championship until Salo had that amazing run towards the mid to latter end of the season. So yeah, another one for another driver, another season to forget. Nico come to the line. That's P4 for ONB Nico, and lap time coming out of nowhere, 4.5 improvement, and spoiling some people towards the front of the grid there. So a very good lap time there from Nico. The game not letting me press LT, so I've got to go the long way. 14 drivers have set a lap time. We still have technically 5 yet to set one. Finley, as we know, has crashed out. He's still in 18th, still ahead of Tech and Kevin Sundberg. Somehow, so fair play. If he starts ahead of them, then that's just a skill issue for those two, I'm afraid, unfortunately. But nobody out on track at the moment. It's second lap time. Fanasimoto did just finish his. He's gone into P7, and that's Uncle now down into P8. And if he's not careful, he's going to find himself in that mid-pack where going into, the first couple of corners around here, it's just front wing damage territory.
It certainly is, but if we remember back to, it was last week, wasn't it, where all of a sudden
Yes.
Uncle went onto pole position. Tech is on a lap this time, going flying through Villeneuve and doing a good job of it. And I think 23.5, I think it was. No, 23.399 for that first sector split, which I think has been pretty good, but going wide through Piratella and thankfully not invalidated, but Tech really pushing the limits of the car and could be, it's sliding around a little bit and maybe not too happy with Tech. And it doesn't look like Tech's done Verante Alta as smoothly as others have in this one.
Yeah, back end stepped out very quickly there. Again, it could be a case of is this a tail happy car as he locks up going to the first Ravazza, and yeah, it's just complaining with traction on the exit. At least he's going to get a lap time set on the board, a very uncharacteristically slidey lap, let's put it that way, but he still goes P4 and goes alongside his teammate Silo. So I mean, it's a lap time on the board, it's a decent one at that in the end for him, and yeah, P4, good effort there. Quantum has invalidated once again. Volokongan has just started his lap. He's coming through Villeneuve. How has he done the first set? He's a third up, so far so good for Volokongan. Otsuzito has also just now started his latest attempt. Don't think there's any. Who else is further up actually? In fact,
Snack is up on their lap times. This could be into the 12s if Snack has got this perfect.
Indeed, he is. Here we go. Is it 12? Indeed, it is. It's a 12.9. I did go briefly on board with him, and he was a 10th down in the first sector. So I thought he's not improving. That just showed me right up there. And yeah, the first drive into the 12s, and has now got over a 3/10 advantage over his next nearest challenger. Volkongan's lost time in the middle sector. Just actually missed. Uncle goes P2 actually now. So the championship leader now goes onto the front row of the grid. Volokongan only goes P8, goes ahead of Quantum. Kevin Zumberg has crashed now as well. Same place as Finley at the exit of Tamburello. So 2 drivers now out. They will start at the very back of the grid. Well, how's Silo getting on? He's come through the middle sector. I didn't see his split, unfortunately. Melvin now goes into P4 with a 13.3. There we go. It's giving me it now. He's only a third of a 10th up, though, is Silo. So this is only good enough to get him ahead of Melvin. A little bit more time. At least he'll get into P3, but he's not happy with it. And he's coming into the box. So Silo with a lot of work to do in that final run. But yeah, good lap time there from Uncle at least. He might be 2/10 off pole, but at least it's P2 on the grid.
Yeah, it won't be in that midfield squabbling battle, which I know probably not what Uncle wants, and not what any of them want, because as you quite rightly mentioned, it's front wing lost territory throughout. Dirk looks like they're finally going to get a lap time on the board through Verante Alta. Not perfectly, but a lot smoother than has on previous occasions, heading to the Ravazza now, as no lock up like we saw from Tech a few moments ago as they head on through as Dirk goes into the pits.
Yeah, it wasn't a great lap as RC Sema. I think he's actually got a quali ban. If I read that properly, actually from the inquiries, he does actually have a qualifying ban. So he will, yeah, that kind of makes sense. He probably should have done that at the start of the session, but if I'm wrong with that, then bill me for it, please. But yeah, I believe that he did. So Dirk is now the only driver that's currently left in qualified to not set a lap time and has not really looked all that comfortable, to put it mildly. Everyone now coming out for their final attempts, and it is Tech who will be the first driver in P6 at the moment, closely followed. Actually by not only his teammate but also Otsazito, and is at the Haas of, it's not Haas of Quantum, it's Ray Wintz. So some of the top guys in the top 10, they're getting out early, wanting the clear track, the clear space before the remaining 12 drivers to actually eventually come out on track. But can anyone catch Snack? I think it's a lot to ask. I think he might actually already have this.
Yeah, I think the pole position is definitely in Snack's hands. Let's say at least one of them. Let us know in the chat who you think is going to take pole position. I'm guessing from that statement there that you think Snack has got this pole in their bag as well, Bobbers.
Yeah, and to be honest, if he can sort out that first sector, he can go even quicker. Like I said, he was a tenth down in that first sector, but that middle sector in particular was just on another level. And I don't think anyone can get near that, if I'm brutally honest. But we'll wait and see. I could be completely wrong, but let's see how Tech does. Currently P6 as it currently stands. Got a who's that coming of? That's Max van der Geest there, just getting out of his way, so I'm not putting him off as we come through. Tamburello now gets away with cutting the second part there somehow, very wide on the exit into turn 4. Into Villeneuve now, flicking the car left and right. The car again looking a little unstable at the back end, and we are a third of a tenth down at the end of the first split water.
Not ideal, but it's not the be all and end all, as we found out with Snack earlier on. I think Max van der Geest could struggle. Ray Wintz is out qualifying at Tosa. Somehow they've done that. I'm not 100% sure, but through Aquaminerale for Tech Brutal now again. Back end is stepping out and not particularly happy. This is going to be a very difficult car to drive, hopping over the curbs at the Varante Alta. But yeah, in the race, this could be very difficult for Tech Brutal as they head on towards the Ravatsa to finish qualifying. I don't think Max van der Geest is going to get a lap time in as it goes off the track at the Ravatsa there. Here comes Tech Brutal. What's it going to be for the Shazoo driver? And across the line, it's P2. It looked untidy, but it was enough to get up there.
It certainly was. Silo was a tenth and a half up through the first two sectors. First sector in particular was much stronger. Altazito now goes P2 ahead of Tech Brutal. But what's it going to be for Silo? He's got to get towards the front of the field. He now takes P2 by 1/1000th of a second over Altazito, and that could be crucial for his championship potential running. How is Nico getting on? Coming to the line, he did improve, but he invalidated his lap time, so unfortunately he will not get any higher. Uncle also invalidated. He invalidated at 12.9, and he will be only P5. Quantum goes P6. Anybody else? Can anyone else challenge Volokongan? Only 3/4 of a tenth up through the middle sector. Wards is a tenth and a half up, but he's invalidated. Melwin is on a lap. Currently P7. Didn't see his split. As the car really steps out on the exit there for him. His teammate's actually gone P7 for Misha. Where is it for Melvin? It's P6 for Melvin. Gets ahead of Quantum. And he goes onto the third row alongside Uncle. Dirk is the last one to set a lap time. He does set one, but it's only P16. As well, like I said, Snack had it in the bag. He was challenged, you could say, if people didn't invalidate their lap times. But you've got to set the lap time to get there. And he's got that, and it's another pole position for Snack, and he's got Silo once again right alongside him.
Then you've got Otsazito, Tech Brutal, Uncle in 5th place. Maybe not ideal there. Melwin in 6th. 7th to Quantum, 8th to Misha, and Wards and Nico round out the top 10. Then you've got Fanny Spinola, Volokongan, Ray Wintz, Epic Vale, Max van der Geest, Dirk, and Tiago rounding out the finishes in this one. Seme, Finley, and Kevin Zunberg all unable to set lap times because they crashed out. But so did Ray Wintz in a weird and wonderful place at Tosa. I never seen that at the hairpin before, going straight on in dry conditions anyway. I just looking at the standings, this isn't looking good for Uncle, is it?
Qualifying is one thing, as we know. Anything can happen in the race, but it could have been worse, considering that as to where he was, say 10 minutes ago into that qualifying session, and he was getting onto the virtual part of being in the mid pack, which you don't want. So at least he's starting fifth. It could be worse, but obviously, yes, he does have his two main title rivals behind him, starting on the front row of the grid. So not ideal for that. He is ahead of Volakongan. At least, obviously, who is the ranked outsider. But yeah, some moves are going to have to be made for Uncle. He's got to get ahead of Otsazito and Tech, obviously, who also had a good qualifying here tonight, at least. So, fair play to Tech on, getting himself towards the front end of the sharp end of the grid. So yeah, some moves are going to have to be done for Uncle. Where can he do it? Obviously, the start is one place, going into turn one, the first few corners. But oh my word, now that's a glitch and a half that I am seeing on my screen. That is actually, that's a new one. Okay. I wish I can actually record that, and I might put that in the chat to say, what the hell have I just witnessed? But yeah, back to Uncle. He's got work to do, but at least it's not as bad as it could have been.
Yeah. I'm just trying to just take in what I've just saw.
You've seen the same thing?
Yeah. Okay. As the standings look, there's a lovely 22-point gap between Uncle, Silo, and Snack. And then a further 10, so 32 points with Volakongan. These are the ones in the championships. 3 rounds remaining. You don't get points in qualifying. We've seen so many times before how the race can change on an instant, especially the last 2 races where we've had qualifying bans. Sorry, I've just seen that Monza should have a qualifying ban. But the last 2 races where we've had safety cars. Are we going to see Otsazito try again a one-stop from soft to medium? Or is it, is this now Otsazito going, no, not going to do it, and then we end up seeing we end up having no safety car?
I mean, how annoyed do you think he's been for the last few times he's tried that? Obviously, not just last week, it happened in Qatar as well. He's certainly going to be. He's probably been annoyed at the very least. I think today's going to be a little bit more difficult for him to do a soft medium here at Imola. That the right hand side tires are going to take an absolute beating, and yeah, I think even for someone of his very smooth style of driving, it's going to be very difficult. I think today is a two-stop race. With or without safety car. I just think it's a little bit impossible. But again, I could be talking absolute nonsense. Someone might actually do it if we don't get a safety car. I could be proven completely wrong. But I'm going to stand my ground, and I think that we will just see 2 stops tonight.
I mean, we were pretty certain that Qatar was going to be a two-stopper, but some of these drivers really did push the boat out a little bit. We are going to take a little bit of an extra break through it, because the crash on the grid between Tech and Silo actually caused Tech's game to crash.
Oh wow.
That's
certainly a new bug.
Incredible. Well done, EA and EA Sports. You never cease to amaze me. I've still got the standings up on the screen. Let's go back to the calendar. Obviously, 8 tracks remain of this. 8 tracks remain in 2 possible spaces. Now, we did our homework properly. I say not properly. We did our due diligence correctly, and we've got next week's in there. But let's just remind everyone, you've gone for China next week, and I've gone Belgium. And I know you have a little bit of a love affair for China, don't you?
Yep, I've said it on a number of occasions. Yeah, it it's mainly just because I think it's a great track to drive on. You've, like I said, you've got everything on it, and it was one of my best tracks, on for online racing. It's where I picked up probably more of my victories. Actually, was at China than at any other circuit. So yeah, that's why it is for me. And at times as well, even had the not on this game for obvious reasons, but on previous games had the quickest time trial time as well. It was just one of those tracks for me. So I'd like to see it. Are we probably going to see it? No, but it'd be good if we do. But like we touched on, at the start of the stream, how many of these legendary and really good tracks are we going to miss out on this season? I mean, who knows what the last two races are going to be? We'll have to wait and see in the next couple of weeks. But I think there's going to be, in terms of legendary tracks, I think there's going to be at least one more, i.e. a Spa.
Spa is Belgium. Gareth, well done. Spa,
Yes, it is. Yes.
Spa, Brazil, Austria, all legendary in their own rights. You've got the medium ones, I suppose you could say. China's been around a little while. Same with Singapore, Abu Dhabi, and I suppose you could add in there. But Saudi's obviously one of the newest in there. So maybe we won't see Saudi just because it will be there forevermore. But China, it looks like it's towards the end of its life.
It is quite possible that would be the case. But I'm not going to say I'd be disappointed if we don't see it. It's in the end, it's all down to Luke and anybody else involved as to what these what the tracks are going to be. They obviously probably already have a layout and calendar in mind, unless they wing it and just do it on the night itself. I don't know. I don't know if you know either. You probably don't. But either way, drivers are now readying up 5 seconds before we get out off this main lobby onto the grid. Obviously, dry conditions as it will be all season. No hard tyres, soft and mediums only. What do we think?
Well,
who's going to win? Is it going to be Imola, as we know, is difficult to overtake compared to other tracks because of its tight, twisty nature. Even though it's very fast flowing, it's so difficult to make a move. Literally, your only chance is down the pit straight into Tamburello.
Yeah, you can be ballsy and into Alta as well, because I've seen that happen a fair few times, especially if at the exit of Acqua Minerale the driver has a little bit of a snap, the grip isn't there, especially on harder tyres, and you've got someone like Volakongan or Otsazito very good on their tyres with someone. I don't want to pick out Tech right now just because of the back end problem that we've seen through qualifying, but it could be something like that. A driver just struggling a little bit for rear end grip. But you're right, it's going to be difficult. Looking at the standings as well, Silo and Snack just need to finish first and second, and they've caught up with Uncle again. But I think the one you have to watch out for is Volakongan, just because we've seen time and time again they can make lemonade out of lemons, I guess is the best way to describe it. But I think it's going to be a Snack victory. How about yourself?
That's certainly an interesting way to put it. I've never heard anybody put it like that before. Yes, obviously you do need lemons to make lemonade, or else it's not in the title. I'm not gonna go with a Snack. Sometimes I think he just lacks that race pace. He did show that in Hungary, but on a number of occasions he has shown that, or a few at least. So I'm gonna go with Silo.
Fair. It's a good option, to be honest. We know how good Silo is. Let us know in the chat as well who you think is going to take victory this evening. It would be great to have other people's opinions as well. But Silo, proven race winner in multiple different disciplines, I guess we could describe it as. They just break records left, right, and centre.
Exactly. Yeah, certainly. It's yeah. I'm just sometimes I'm lost for words. I think is the best way for me to put it. It's he's just on another level, just different gravy up north, as we say, different gravy.
Different gravy.
Yeah. So yeah, I hope everyone understands. I'm sure they understand what I mean by that.
I understand. I'm a northerner by heart, even though I am a southerner. Well, I'm not either really. But we're going racing here in Imola. We're not talking about the north-south divide in the UK. We are talking about who's going to divide the grid, and it's a good start. It appears a good start from Snack as they head towards turn one. Covers off Silo as best they can as they head towards Tamburello, and it looks like there's Otsazito making a little bit of a charge at the inside of Tech, but Uncle Tech can't keep the position, and Otsazito is up to third place. Uncle is up into fifth, and it's all going a little bit hairy.
Indeed, yeah, that was so Tech tried to get a move done round the outside of Otsazito into Tamburello after having a better start. Didn't quite get it done, slightly forced a bit wide, and then as a result, Tony then tried to stick his nose in onto the final part of Tamburello, and that knocked Tech out wide, slightly off track. So potential something could be taken into the stewards there, but it is the first lap after all. But it does mean Tech has now dropped down to P7 and behind the medium tyre runner of Quantum. Is he going to try and get a move done? The answer is into Aquaminerale, sorry. Getting that mixed up now. Into Variante Alta. No, he does not. He stays in P7 for the time being. So Uncle at least has gone up into P4, slightly questionable for how he got up into P4, but either way it's P4 nonetheless, as Nico now gets a move done at Rivatsa 1 on Misha there, goes up into P8, but it's still Snack who leads the way from Silo in P2, Otsazito in P3, and it's the midfield where everything is happening. Max von der Geese there dropping down to the very back of the train, and that would be why there is a lot of wing damage on that Racing Bull. Same with the Red Bull in front of him of Kevin Zumberg. Same again with Finley in P7. There's a lot of wings missing, or damaged wings towards the back of the grid.
They're not ideal if you're wanting to, well, keep the car in a straight line. Anyway, towards the front. Well, not in a straight line, in a fast aspect of things. But Uncle keeping up with Otsazito, pulling away a little bit from Melwin in P5. Quantum doing that alternate strategy in P6. Not a bad start, and to be honest, a good strategy. There's no one else on mediums around them. Epic Vale is the closest, down in 14th place.
Indeed, yeah. Obviously, those towards the back you expected maybe to try something different or expect a safety car of some form. But yeah, Quantum certainly doing something completely different. Obviously, for someone who started higher up the grid, so we'll see how that pans out for him. Melvin sets the fastest lap of the race there. In fact, so let me just look at the winners and losers. So Tech was the biggest loser until Max von der Geese is now going to the pits. Obviously, just changed that severely damaged wing. So, yeah, everyone else kind of really stayed up the odd position of 2, nothing too significant. Ward's also down 3 places as well, actually, so I'm not sure what happened with him. Either way, apart from Max von der Geese changing his wing, everyone else is kind of just staying formation. But yeah, these medium tyres, I think, are for Quantum are actually doing a decent job. Actually, they might actually be the better tyre already. And there's Epic Vale, or has it got the move done on Ray Wins, just to maybe slightly prove that by getting ahead of the soft tyre runner.
I was in a really good place. Piratella as well. Started the move at Toza into, well, that little kink on the right hander of turn 8, and then into Piratella. And you know what, Epic Vale was like, I've got this. And my goodness, he did have. That was a really good move from Epic Vale there, as Melwin still close to the back of Uncle in P4. But it feels like very much, you know, you called it right. It's a difficult track to overtake. It's going to be one of those slow burners, I think, as Misha nearly losing ground on the the DRS availability to Nico, which could form a little bit of a lifeline to Volokongan, who's in P10.
Indeed, yeah. I mean, Volokongan has gained 2 places, but yeah, didn't really get the qualifying I think he would have wanted to, you know, try and have any chance of staying in this championship fight. But at least he's pointing in the right direction, and hopefully can try and improve that position. As yeah, Misha looking very close to losing the DRS here. He's flirting with that 1 second window where to stay within the DRS of Nico in front of him, who, you know, got the move done on the first lap going through the Rivatsas. We now have a yellow flag. That is for Max von der Geest again. Bear in mind, remember, he did crash in qualifying and the back end was very twitchy. I think he's done the same again here in the race. So yeah, Max von der Geest not having a good race, unfortunately, down in P20 with those issues. Everybody else pointing in the right direction. Snack still leads the way, as he has done from the very start, and nothing really happening. Misha did get the DRS just about, but now is well over a second off Nico. So Volokongan and Fan Spinoda Co, they'll obviously see that, will now want to get a move on to try and close back in. Doesn't help as well that Misha's battery, not, well, let's put it simple, is not good.
No, it's not ideal for the Kick-Sauber driver this evening, as Volokongan will try everything they can. And just behind, it looks like Epic Vale again, very, very quick on the exit of Tozer, and now into Piratella, sorry, and all over the back of Ward's just ahead. Definitely got a grip advantage, obviously on the medium compound, while everyone else is on softs. We could see Epic Vale make some more moves in this one just yet.
Certainly can do, as he got very close there as they broke into the Variante Alta onto the rear diffuser of that Ferrari. Just going to go further up to Volokongan, who's a quarter of a second off the back of the Kick-Sauber in front of him, who will not have DRS this time. And unfortunately, I think this is where we're going to see Misha fall down the grid. As we actually see some of the soft timers pitting at the end of lap 5, going very early, but there goes Volokongan getting the move done very easily on Misha. But yeah, Tech, Nico and Fan Spinoda go into the pits off their softs onto a fresh set of mediums. Undercut here is certainly a lot better than what it was at Spain last week, so see some potential overtakes, as here's an overtake as this Epic Vale round the outside of Villeneuve on Wards, and he gets the move done on tail, stepping out there. He's tried to block Wards going into Tozer. That was a little bit naughty there from Epic Vale. Wards did have his car alongside there, and he just pretty much put him onto the grass. So after a great overtake, a little bit iffy at best is how I'm going to put it, as Max von der Geest once again goes for a spin, and this time it's at Rivatsa 2.
Not ideal for Max van der Geest as they get going again. Could be a lap before long. But yeah, I think it all stemmed from Wards making a mistake at Tamburello and allowing Epic Vale up the inside, the outside, heading into Villeneuve. Made the move stick as we see everyone else pits, and Quantum take the lead of the Grand Prix. Volokongan stays out an extra lap. We've seen this time and time again, as I think that is Misha being overtaken by Epic Vale. But look at I know it's only 4.3 seconds, but Quantum has that over the next medium compound runner, which is actually an awful lot of time.
It is, and Quantum's got all the free air in the world. He's got, 3 seconds to Volokongan behind him. He's got nobody in front of him. So this is a good point for Quantum. He's got to make use of this, and it's a case of now where the rest of them come out in relation to it all. Regarding the pit stoppers, no real jumps apart from, Nico gets ahead of Otzazito, so he's actually now net P3 out of the pit stoppers. Tech is also ahead of Uncle. So Uncle has lost 2 places in that pit stop window. Not ideal for the current championship leader. At the moment, Max von der Geest, as expected, into the pits, retires from the session, and we're down to 19 runners and riders. Out in front, the gap's actually gone down to 2.7 seconds, so Volokongan, with his soft tyres, still making them go pretty quickly, and fair play to him. Does he pit? No, he does not. I was going to say, are we going to see more people try the one stop here, as we were trying to think earlier? Misha speeds into the pit lane now. That's obviously not intentional, unlike Max van der Geest. That's just him not getting on the brakes quick enough, and that's his race pretty much done with. But yeah, still four drivers out on the softs that started on them. They are not trying the one stop, surely. But have you noticed? It seems to be the same people.
Yeah, it's well, we've seen this from Volokongan before on a two-stopper. They'll make that soft run painful, so they can have extra tire life on the mediums and just burn the living daylights out of them. And it's worked. They're still keeping up to a degree with Epic Vale on the set of medium better race tyres, especially for them at this point. So it's really good driving from Epic Vale from Volokongan at this point. But the one that hasn't was Otsuzito. We were half expecting Otsuzito to try a one-stopper again.
Yeah, quite potential. But I think he's, again, after the few occasions where it's not worse because the safety car decided as not to go with it and is just going to stick with the rest of the train and just follow what the leaders do. What it did do, actually, was lose him a net position to Nico, who has got ahead of him. Wards goes into the pits at the end of lap 8 for his first stop, so one driver going for just the slightly fresher rubber here. See how that pans out for him. He's going to come up probably at the very back of this train, so he'll probably come up behind Fanas Spinoda, so that'll be P17 for the Ferrari man. Quantum leads out in front by 2.5 seconds near enough from Epic Vale, slowly chipping away at Quantum's lead, but no real concerns for the Haasman at the moment. Wards actually comes out in last, actually, not even P17. Was completely wrong with that. Volokongan still stayed out, as does the Mercedes of Sema, and Kevin Zumberg as well, who, as we know, has also tried to do one stops as he has started towards the back of the field more often than not. So A driver's still yet to pit. Some on the mediums. Do they do the one or two stop? We'll have to wait and see. But these soft runners, these three, I think I'm going to try it again.
Yeah, and Volokongan has nothing to lose and doing a really good job of keeping towards Epic Vale. Epic Vale looks like they're trying to break it as well, but just doesn't have anything on Volokongan, and through again goes Volokongan, not going into the pits and then, if anything, catching Epic Vale towards Tamburello, which is exactly what they need to do. Stay close through this twisty part of the track and then use the DRS down the start-finish straight. And you know what? It's a good drive so far from Volokongan. Is it a champion's drive? We'll have to wait and see, as there goes Uncle on Tech Brutal. And there's now a break in the train there. Otsuzito is 1.2 seconds in front. Uncle needs to drain some of that battery to keep up with the front runners.
Indeed he does. Yeah, not too sure what happened with Tech as to why he's just dropped off, and his tyres were only 1 lap older compared to those around him, apart from obviously Nico and Fanas Spinoda. But yeah, struggling a little bit is the second Alpine. The lead Alpine is still behind Snack. These guys are now 5 seconds off the back of the first train, which obviously you've got Thiago, Kevin, Finley, Sema and Dirk, who got a move done on him before Tamburello. Volokongan has now lost the DRS to Epic Vale, so he lasted a few laps and fair play to him, but the Softs have now definitely lost the rear grip I think that they need for him to manage to stay with that Aston Martin. He's got 4 seconds behind him, so no need to worry about anyone behind. Finley now getting close to the back of the Mercedes diffuser in front of him. He's got a lot more battery. He's going to be on the outside as he faints over, switches to the inside, going into Tamburello later on the brakes, and that is a move done for Finley. Not a good qualified. He crashed at Tamburello, but he gets the move done there this time on the inside of the Mercedes. It's P5 as it stands for the Ferrari man. He's got his compatriot Dirk in front of him. These two on the mediums on the alternate strategy. We'll see how they go. Quantum's lead is still 2 seconds over Epic Vale. Give it another couple of laps, might not even be that, but the lead train will be on the back of this, and Uncle has managed to close that gap to under a second.
It's not too bad from Uncle right now, and there's only 13 seconds separating, well, 12 and a half separating Snack and Quantum, who's in the lead of this Grand Prix. Could we also be seeing Quantum try a one-stop from this aspect. I think, well, if they go anything over 15 or 14, I would say yes. We'll have to wait and see. Currently lap 11, and Quantum leads the Grand Prix by 2.2 seconds to Epic Vale. Volakongan finally pits on lap 12. That's a good stint on those tyres. Is it good enough for a one-stop to do something special? Time will tell. Finley takes P3 off of Dirk with that pit stop as Silo still yet to make a move, and Snack has caught up with the back end of Tiogo, which means they're involved in another train.
Indeed, and yes, it's quite a big train. There's 5 drivers in front of us. They're the McLaren there, Tiago, getting very squirrely, but up the inside of Toza goes the Red Bull of Snack later on the brakes. Easy move done there. Tiago trying to come back. Salo's going to now have to try and follow him through if he can as they come up the hill into Piratella, but there's no real opportunity here. He's got much better grip, as you can see. Look at the grip difference there as he's coming down the hill. He's burning that battery. Going to be on the outside through Aqua Minerale. You can't get 2 cars through there, and that is contact, and that is wing damage on the Alpine there. It's not Tiago's fault. That's just Silo just braking a bit late, and the front right end plate is gone.
And that is crucial in this championship battle. Snack is going to be, well, probably happy about that one. Just behind Nico, getting through as well, as does Otsazito. That's very, very close. If Otsazito does get through, Tiago kind of just gives up in the end, it seems like. That's very, very unfortunate. Into the pits for one of them. And Silo.
Oh, sorry, I thought Silo was in.
Sorry, it's Kevin and Monza into the pits. 3-second time penalty for Ray Wintz there through that. But Silo has problems halfway through, well, just not even halfway through this Grand Prix. Silo's got a lot of work to do, and I don't think they'll get that front wing replaced in their next pit stop.
The worst part is the damage is on the right hand side, which is obviously going into left hand corners where you want more of the downforce to be. So it's, yeah, the wrong side of the car, as it were. But and now look at that, he's over a second, or just hovering around a second behind Snack, who's now got Dirk in front of him and Finley. So, you know, it's an SCI train here now, as it were. But yes, Snack kind of now has, I'm not going to say one hand on this, but he's certainly going to be helped by, yeah, Silo's mistake, because it is his mistake. It's not Tiago's fault. Tiago did absolutely nothing wrong in there, as Tech now gets ahead of him. Melvin picks up a 3-second time penalty. Time penalty is now starting to come in here as we approach half race distance. But Quantum pits, so that's a 2-stop for Quantum. He's not going to go, obviously, another, well, he can't do softs to the end. There's absolutely no way of that happening. In this case of what does he go on? Is it softs or mediums? It looks like it's another set of mediums for the Haas driver. Epic Vale now takes the lead of this race as moves are now all starting to come in. Snack gets ahead of Dirk, but not Finley. Silas still managing to stay ahead of the likes of Nico and Otsazito, at least for now.
Definitely, at least for now. And as you can see, struggling through, Villeneuve loses time, having to brake a little bit more and be a little bit more thorough through it all. As there goes Snack. Silo tries to weave past Dirk. They get the... That is very, very close. Dirk gets very close to the back end. Now, what Silo needs is to Dirk just to hold up everyone else, to give him a bit of breathing room. I'm not sure they're going to...
It's certainly what he's going to try, but here comes Nico now, and Dirk, no, it's every man for himself. Yeah, I think here, this, you know, they are in a team, but this is, yeah, it's not a team championship. This is certainly every person for themselves, and but yeah, Nico gets the move done. What does Otsazito do? Does he dive down the inside of Ravatsu? Well, the answer is yes, just about. A little bit of contact, though, between the pair of them. Dirk goes slightly wide, nothing too serious. He stays on the track at least. Hopefully he didn't pick up a warning for it. As Epic Vale goes into the pit, so he is not doing a 2-stop. He is on the alternate 1-stop. Dirk now going to try and get the move back on Otsazito there for a second. In the end, backs out of him, and now he's got Tony, uncle, behind him, former SCI man, now obviously of GT10, coming into Villeneuve, uncle on the battery, but he's not close enough to make a move on Dirk at the moment. What about into Toza? Much better run through the second part of Villeneuve as he sent it down the inside. He certainly does later on the brakes. and gets that move done. Does he just about? Yes, Dirk goes onto the grass a little bit, so that his uncle now up into P6. Snack has now taken the lead, and he's pulled a second on Finley, which means he's well over a second clear of Silo. Snack has done what he needs to do, and we're not even halfway through this race.
No, Snack, well, with the damage to Silo, that's exactly what they need to do, as Dirk and Melwin trade places there as well. And you can see the tyre difference is only, what, 6 laps between Melwin and Dirk, and the grip difference is ridiculous between them. Volokongan there in 15th place on 3-lap-old tyres. It'll be interesting to see. Volokongan's 15 seconds now between, as there is Silo getting past Finley on all this. Is there going to be Nico trying to get through, going around the outside? Oh, what a little switcheroo that was from Nico to not get caught out by Finley. Otzazito now has to make the following move through as they head on through down towards Villeneuve, and Finley is holding up Otzazito. This is for position, so Finley is well within their rights to do this as well, and causing a little bit of mayhem for a lot of these drivers.
Indeed, yes, but Otzazito gets the move done. Tony now trying to get the move done in towards Piratella. Didn't quite get alongside enough of Finley's Ferrari there, and he's not going to get a move done down the hill either, so he's got to stay behind him just a little bit longer. There's a bit of lacking a little bit of traction there. The rear of the car stepping out a little bit. Snack's lead is now 2 seconds. Tech now gets ahead of Dirk. That just leaves Spana Spinoda now as the final driver to make a move on any of these drivers who have not yet made a pit stop. In fact, that is literally just Finley and Dirk as the only 2 drivers yet to make a stop. Yeah, it's certainly causing and catching a few people out, obviously none the least being Silo. Gap 2.2 seconds now out in front, but the thing is, Silo, he's not ready for it. Here comes Nico now with the DRS and burning that battery, but he doesn't go for the move, interestingly enough. Finley does lose out P5 in the end to Uncle, so there was a move being done. It's now Melwin to try and get ahead, but yeah, why is Nico not going for the move? That is an interesting one for me.
Yeah, very odd. Maybe Nico's not aware of the damage on Silo and wants to make sure it's a perfect move. But I think, well, they've got to make the move sooner rather than later, or otherwise it's a little bit all over the place. Let's go and have a look at the gap to leader again. Volokongan is now 13 seconds behind Snack, as we're believing Volokongan is doing a one-stop strategy. Snack would still have some work to do, but it looks like towards the end of the race it should be an easy overtake for Snack on Volokongan. But we're not just 100% sure what is going on with the multiple strategies we've got on offer. Obviously, Quantum went for fresh mediums and going for softs at the end of the Grand Prix to be racy. Then Melwin finally gets through from Finley for the battle for P6, but Melwin has lost that gap, and into the pits is Nico.
And Uncle for that matter as well. So they're going for the big undercut. They've obviously seen and know obviously of Silo's issue, and maybe they think this is the best time to just get ahead of him rather than go for a move and let him stay within the DRS. Just do it on here, because they know that he's not really going to be of any threat even with maybe 1 lap fresher tyres, and I would actually completely agree with that theory. So yeah, Silo got to be on the back foot here, and yeah, Uncle needs to do something if he's going to try and benefit from not losing to 2 of his nearest title challenges. But he's got to get a move done on Nico if he wants maybe a P2 or something like that maybe. But we'll have to see as the race goes on. Snack leads the way still. 3.7 seconds is now the gap. He can afford to stay out another lap at least before having to think to going for a pit stop, so he's in no immediate rushes. What does Otzazito do behind Silo? Silo will probably not change his wing because he won't want to lose those extra 5 or 6 seconds by having to do that. Tech behind Melwin. That is the battle for P4 now on track, but Melwin does have a time penalty. But yeah, Volokongan, what is his gap? That is the question I'm looking at. So Volokongan, as he gets a move done on Misha there down the inside for P12, he's got 15.5 seconds over Nico with 13 laps to go. It's a second and a bit a lap.
everyone has just pitted. The front runners have pitted. Silo is one of those as well. I think the undercut is definitely on for... Or is it? There's going to be a little bit of squabble with Nico. Nico getting past. Where is Silo? Silo's there, out of the pits behind Nico and Uncle. So Silo and Otsazito losing some big time in that one lap undercut. But crucially, Snack still leads them. They've caught back up to Snack, but not enough. And Snack being on that one lap fresher tyre will definitely be an interesting one. But it does help Volokongan out a lot more than pitting earlier. I would have thought they would have pitted a couple of laps later to do kind of like equal tyres on them, both sets of mediums, to get the best time out of both of it. And Snack is being caught out by Seme there in P11. Snack definitely desperate, has to get the move done sooner rather than later. We don't see it up into outer. But yeah, this end of the Grand Prix all of a sudden, it's spiced up.
Certainly has. Tech now goes into the box, out as Fana Spinoda. But yeah, all of this with likes of Snack, Nico and Uncle, for example, not getting ahead of drivers as Seme makes a mistake. Ray Wins has gone into the box and has retired. That's an interesting one. But yeah, with them still being held up, they're not... Volokongan is going to be losing less time, and he's actually getting pulled along by Quantum, who's on 2-lap fresher tyres, but they do have Wards in front of them, who's on older tyres, so it's ideal and not ideal at the same time. Snack is now stuck behind Kevin Zumberg on 6-lap older tyres, but he's got to move here at the exit. Tamburello, much better grip, much quicker through the exit into Villeneuve up the inside. That's moved done, and now Snack has got the gap. He's got 8 seconds of clean air in front of him, which is exactly what he needs. And Volokongan now will have to get a move on if he wants to try and have any chance of winning this race. He's got to, I mean, yeah, he can stick with Quantum. Quantum will pull him along happily enough, but they've got to get ahead of Wards.
Yeah, that's going to be the big point through all this is what Wards will have to play with this. They've got Epic Vale behind as well, who's on fresher tyres than both Quantum and Volokongan, and obviously Wards in this as well. But do we see Quantum dispatch of Wards on this lap, or does Wards pop into the pits? We'll wait to see. Is there a VNT driver jumping in? It is indeed, and this allows Quantum, Volokongan and Epic Vale that free air that they kind of needed as well.
Indeed, and yeah, obviously Epic Vale actually has the fresher tyre of these three, but bear in mind, the guy in first and third need to pit again. They've got medium. They've still got to run the soft tyre. Volokongan doesn't. He doesn't have to pit, and yeah, I think, again, like I said, he'll just use these to his advantage. Snack sets the fastest lap of the race, but he still has Nico behind him, but crucially, Uncle has got 2 cars between him and Nico. Uncle's any chance he had of maybe trying to get a victory has gone. He can't get a move done on his teammate and Kevin Zumberg in front, so it could be depending on what he does with Volokongan, it might only be P4 here, and if Snack can get a win, that's the gap down to 10 points, and it's on again.
It is as well, and Silo having issues. Where is... oh, goodness me. I thought Semi was going to clip the back end of Uncle, even though there was a little bit of a weave as a thank you, I think, from Tony there, or from Uncle.
Yeah.
But also, that could have ended in tears, because I think Seme pulled in back onto the racing line a little bit too early. But Epic Vale, Volokongan was... oh my goodness. Snack has caught... I mean, Misha is on older tyres, but Snack caught 4 seconds in a lap to Misha on those fresher tyres. Hooks back behind, goes to the racing line, or the outside line of the Kinker turn that isn't a turn, and straight past. And, well, Snack's only trouble is Nico right now. We have got pits, Uncle has dispatched of Kevin Zillenberg there, but look at that, 2.5 seconds.
Contacts between Nico and Misha through Villeneuve. Misha deciding to defend from Nico there. And Nico was round the outside, and it was just a little bit of contact between the two of them, but it sent them both off, more so for Misha than it did for Nico. But Nico has lost well over a second as a result of that. Misha's down to P12, and Ottazito with a 10-second penalty for ignoring yellow flag. I'm guessing he made a move whilst the yellow flag was out. He may take that to the stewards. We'll wait and see. That's not ideal for the time being for his race. But yeah, contact between him, like I said, between Nico and Misha, that has just cemented Snack's pursuit of Volokonga, and made it a lot easier with not having to have to defend or have any issues from somebody behind. Volokonga now gets, speaking of it, gets overtaken by Epic Veil, but Snack is just closing in at a rate of knots, and there's me thinking it's only just over a second a lap. He's going to be there in about a couple of laps at this rate as Misha decides to retire.
Misha has really well jumped into the pits on this one. Epic Veil, like you said, dispatching a Volokongan, but that could be more by design from Volokongan wanting to maybe save those tyres a little bit more. Yeah, you're going to be in the dirty air, but you're also going to, well, you can navigate that by just going off the racing line and cooling the tyres and doing stuff that way. But Uncle is 1.7 seconds behind Nico. Yeah, could be a podium, but whatever happens right now, it's still not the greatest race. But Silo, possibly the biggest loser of them all.
Yeah, so without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah, obviously, what was a a P2 at least, well, yeah, quite potentially at least for him. Anything could have happened. We don't know. But obviously, he was behind Snack and was comfortable. But yeah, that slight, well, I say fairly substantial tap on the back of Tiago, and yeah, that's all it took, and that was the wing damage that he needed, and it's just caused havoc for him, and as a result, he's just got the move done on Kevin Zumberg. That is for P7. But that, at the moment, with only the top two definitely having to pit, is only going to be P5 for him, and he's going to lose more ground. And it's only 2 points to Uncle, but it's still 2 points that he doesn't want to lose. But he's going to lose even more to Snack, who, P4 at the moment will be P2, and without, I'd say quite easily, will lead this race probably in the next 3 to 4, well, probably next 3 laps, I'd say.
Not ideal as Snack is honing in on the top 3. 2 seconds now is the gap between themselves and Volokongan. They're in third place. It's 1.9 to be precise. The Nico 2.5 seconds further back. Uncle hasn't been able to close that gap to Nico either. It's still hovering at, well, I think it was 1.7 a few laps ago, so it's going back up to 2. Nico, though, a fair play to Nico Rasenberg, producing a great performance this evening. Not a name that we would have put up there with everyone else, the other talent, and they've really produced a great race today.
He certainly hasn't, well, bar that one mistake that he had with Misha, and I think it was a case of just wheels locking his side pod to tyre, maybe, on reflection of it all. But yeah, minus that, it's been a good race. Tech trying to get a move done here on Tiago's 6-lap older medium tyres. He sends it down the inside, into Tamarello. Then, yeah, Tiago had to give up the position here, so that's taken to P13. Only P13 at the moment, unfortunately for him, but there's still time to be made, as Snack is now only half a second off the back of Volokong, and that was me saying in the next 3 laps might only be the next lap or 2, actually, depending on when the top 2 go into the pits to go onto their soft tyres. So can Volokongan stick this? No, is the answer. He won't, but he wants to as best as he can to maybe try and cement a podium, as we've got a yellow flag. That is for Finley, who has dropped it going down the hill, and he's missing a lot of his front wing, so there's certainly been some contact with him, but I'm not too sure who with.
Neither am I, to be perfectly honest, as flying into the pits is Quantum, and flying on track is Snack, who dispatched Volokongan at the first of Rabatsa, and now is all over the back of Epic Veil, and I don't think Epic Veil has got anything in the locker to defend from Snack as they head towards Villeneuve, but nothing on this occasion, so Epic Veil is holding station at the moment. Nico's 2.6 seconds further back. Volokongan needs to find a way of keeping to the back end as Finley picks up the penalty and retires. That's not really surprising, as going up the hill towards Piratella, Snack still can't find a way past Epic Veil, but so much quicker with those tyres. Volokongan needs to find a way to stick to it, but I don't think they are, as Nico is slowly catching the ground ahead. as Epic Vale is fighting this one into Alta, and there goes Snack, and that was very, very feisty.
It certainly was, and he's got the move done. He's going to have the grip through Rivatsa 1 and 2, but Epic Vale's got the battery. He's actually going to send it down the inside, his Epic Vale. This is going to catch Snack off guard. A little bit of contact actually between the pair of them, and Volokongan now up the inside of Rivatsa too. And Epic Vale's still got to pin, but he's not letting Snack get away. And do you know what this has done? Look who's now joined the party. It's Nico in P4. Maybe this was Epic Vale's plan, was to get his teammate back into this, and that's what's happened.
Enter player 2, I suppose you could say, in all that. That's incredible there. Silo losing finally to Otsazito as, well, Snack has to find a way through, and Volokongan is there as well. Well, Nico has to find a way through them. Uncle is 3 seconds further back on this. It's laps 27 of 32. These last few laps have been really, well, quite entertaining. And, well, we just don't know which way it's going now. Nico's back in the swing of things.
He is, but he's got to pit again. He's not been on the soft tyres yet. I think he's literally just doing a job here for Nico, perhaps. I could be wrong here, but we'll wait and see. I mean, what it is doing, though, is Tony is now closing, or Uncle So is closing in very quickly. He's gained a second already and a sector and a bit onto the back of this 4-car train for the lead here. You know, another lap, and he could quite easily be on this, but Snack has not used any battery at all. He's going to deploy everything and more to get ahead of this Aston Martin in front of him. And we go battery deploy for the pair of the DRS open for Snack. He goes to the left. Epic Vale pushes him as much as you realistically can, but in the end the move is done. Snack is in the lead. Volokongan now broke himself into Tamburello, then nearly hitting the back of Epic Vale. Does this open the door for Nico now, though? He wasn't quite close enough in the end, so he holds on to P3 for now as we come through Villeneuve into Tosa, and yeah, he's not close enough into the hairpin. He gets much later on the brakes though, but that's 6 lap fresher tyres for you. I still don't understand Epic Vale's strategy, I'll be brutally honest, but yeah, okay, fair enough. But Snack is now going to pull over a second clear, and yeah, Uncle now 1.6 seconds off the cars in front, still gaining. I can't call this.
It's very, very close, but I think it's going to be a Nico and Uncle podium. Volokongan's going to do their darndest to keep on this as well. But Volokongan is doing a very good job of holding up Nico. As I say that, though, can't fight it continually all the way through, as Volokongan now loses out to the OMB driver as they will try and keep to it. But Epic Vale, yeah, another lap out. Epic Vale's doing Epic Vale things, I guess the best way to describe that one. Volokongan trying to keep to the back end of Nico, but already dropped outside of it. But this is a better point scoring position than Volokongan would have had they followed the same strategy as everyone else.
Well, considering those who've got the penalties behind him, then yes, it's certainly going to work for him as Kevin Zingenberg picks up another penalty. So yeah, at least it's positions gained for Volokongan, but it's a case of how many exactly. It's P4 at the moment, will be P3, so he's technically on the final step of the podium, so that's what he's currently now going to have to try and defend from Uncle behind him, who will want that P3 finished as best as he can. Silo actually at the moment, you know, will go up into P5, so what has been a difficult second half of the race for him might actually turn out to be not too shabby, and what could have been a lot worse for the current defending champion. But Otsazito now closing in the back of Uncle, who in turn closing on the back of Volokongan. Nico now gets the move done on Epic Vale, and look at that, no defending whatsoever, but the gap has gone. Snack is now 3.5 seconds clear. Here comes Uncle now with the DRS, easy move there. They get ahead of Volokongan, and that really, well, that's P3 technically out on circuit for the current championship leader.
Indeed, as we look on Silo, that is the problem for the Shazoo driver, is a front right end plate missing and a 3-second penalty to boot. That doesn't help at all, and you go on board with their teammate. Oh, and look at that. The front left end plate is missing on Tech Brutal's car there. That is not ideal at all. But Silo with the misdemeanor with Tiago all those laps ago, it feels like an eternity ago when they were squabbling away. As we see a little bit more Epic Vale and Uncle action. Epic Vale is definitely not letting anyone get involved. Wow, talk about a little bit of action for us. Epic Vale, that's the pit, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. He still has to be. He's going to do it this lap or the next lap. But all it's doing is just causing mayhem. Silo actually gets ahead of Volakongan now, whose medium tyres are just crying for help at this point. And all this squabbling because of Epic Vale is not doing him any good. That's a bit of lag there I've just seen from Epic Vale. That's not entirely ideal. But can he stay ahead of Uncle here as they go into Tamburello? The answer is no. So the Mercedes gets ahead. Otsazita does not, and he clips the back of the Aston Martin ever so slightly. Melvin actually got ahead of Volakongan now. So Volakongan now on the back of this tray, but he doesn't have a penalty, so he can still gain position so long as he can stick with them. But look at that front right tyre. It is screaming, just like Otsazito is screaming past the Epic Vale there. Oh, God, makes contact with somebody's round. And, well, I say no more on that. That was inevitable.
Oh, I just saw a spinning car, and well, we'll go with that. So Silo's going to drop out of 5th place, possibly to. I'm not sure how this is going to work out, because Otsazito, we think maybe is going to get the penalty removed. So if Otsazito can get past Silo here, not Silo, Uncle here, this is. Well, we're on the penultimate lap of the race. It is really kicked off. Nico is there in 2nd place, and Snack has run away with it. 10 seconds for Epic Vale for corner cutting. That's inspirational right there. Otsazito, though, heading down the start-finish straight. Is it going to be enough to get past Uncle? It goes to the inside of the fake turn 1 or the real turn 1, whatever you want to call it, and then into Tamburello, has the lead. Silo's right there, and, well, how is this one going to run out?
Yeah, exactly. How is this going to run out? As Uncle just made a bad decision there. I mean, obviously, yeah, he'll see that Otsazito has a 10-second time penalty, but whether or not he can get that removed, we'll have to wait and see. That'll be something for the stewards after the race, and obviously we'll find out next week. But at the moment, obviously, Uncle will classify as a P3 finish, but he's still got to keep an eye. He can't let Otsazito get too far up the road, and now he's still got Silo in behind him, and you never know. Could he get a 3-second penalty removed? We'll have to wait and see as they come down the hill. Even Melvin's there involved. Volakongan's now dropped off the back of this. I mean, where could he end up in all this, considering what happens with the penalties? Well, let's go on board with the race leader. That is Snack, who has obviously claimed pole position. He had a few little issues towards on this second stint, but he got the move done when he needed to in the end, and it's victory for Snack, and he's proved me wrong, so well done, Snack. Thank you for doing that. Nico takes an unlikely P2, but what a good P2 that is. Silo actually gets ahead of Uncle somehow. It's Uncle, though, who finishes P3 with the penalties applied. Volakonga gets P4. Fana Spinoda P5. But we'll have to wait and see for the inquiries as to where everyone is going to finish, so take all this with a pinch of salt for now. The only thing we can say is the top 2 will be your top 2.
Yeah, when you said go aboard, let's go on board with the race winner, I was like, no, I can't. I can't physically do that with Silo throwing it up the inside of Raratza. My goodness me. But great victory for Snack. Definitely what they needed to do in the landscape of the championship, and with the penalties, you know, who knows? Silo and Otsazito could get the penalties removed, which then means Uncle drops down the order a little bit. God, gonna need a little bit of time to run down who
words by the sounds of it.
I mean, who gets driver of the day? I'm really interested to see what the game gives for this one, because
I've already skipped it, if I'm honest.
it's been given to Nico. Driver of the day has been given to Nico. Most overtakers was Kevin Zunberg. Cleanest driver was Volokonga, which I could fully believe with that. And the race winner, obviously, through there. And let's go down the order one more time. It was Snack from Nico and Uncle on the podium. Then Volokonga and Fanna Spinoda, Silo, Melwin, Tech, Wards, and Simmer rounding out the points. Then you've got Quantum, Otsazito, Kevin Zunberg, Dirk, Tiago as finishers, or non-finishers to Epic Vale, Finley, Misha, Ray Wentz, and Max van der Geest. So who's your driver of the day, Bobbers, for this one?
I mean, yes, a few people that, few people went quietly under the radar. I mean, Fanna Spinoda for one, obviously. I mean, yeah, we have to see about the penalties as to what could happen and be applied. We even got faster slap as well, so fair play to Fanna Spinoda. I think, though, I'm going to give it to Nico. Starting P10, and, got that undercut from the first stop and even from the second one as well, and it worked out a treat for him. And yes, he got helped by Epic Vale to close into Snack. In the end, Snack just had the pace to pull away, but it was a great drive nonetheless from Nico's perspective. Little question mark with Misha. I think it was just the game physics aspect with side pod to tyre, but it was a good drive from Nico. An unexpected P2, but a good P2 nonetheless.
Certainly, and we weren't expecting it. Maybe Silo wouldn't, but maybe it would have been P3 had Silo not had that ring damage, and obviously that's going to be a talking point through it as well. The incident at Aqua Minerale with Tiago, probably just a bit of impatience, trying to keep up with Snack, wanting to put a little bit of a few cars between themselves and Uncle, and definitely worked against them this time. There's also the incident between Tech and Uncle and lap one right at the beginning. Whether that's going to be investigated, whether it's going to be Stu, well, again, we'll know this time next week, I guess, is the best way to describe it, Bobbers. But not a very entertaining and difficult race to hold, this one.
It certainly is, yeah. Well, for a few people, for sure. I know Silo's not particularly happy, as you could expect. Stack is happy for obvious reasons, claiming pole, taking the win. Didn't get the Grand Slam, unfortunately. Fanna Spinoda took that away from him with the fastest lap, but it's still what he would have wanted. Tony's going to be on the edge of his seat a little bit because he doesn't know if people's penalties can be removed. He will hope not, and he only loses 10 points to Snack rather than potentially 15, as it may end up well being. So he will be keeping his fingers crossed that doesn't happen. We just didn't get the safety car this week. That's a first.
Do you think Volokongan was hoping on a safety car to make that one stop work even better for them? Who knows? We'll have to wait and see, or maybe even to make it into a 2-stop. I say we'll have to wait and see. We'll never know, is what I mean to that. So next week, we don't know what it is, but round 9 could be any of the tracks that haven't got a tick on them. So that's China, Brazil, Abu Dhabi, Belgium, Austria, Mexico, Singapore, or Saudi Arabia. Yourself has gone for China. I've gone for Belgium. Let us know in the chat. In the chat, put whatever you want for race for next week. It would be great to hear other people's opinion as well. But Bobbers, how do we run that one down as again another week of bleaching in the console tier 1 chat is required?
It wasn't quite as chaotic, I think, in some respects. But I'm only basing that off because we didn't get a safety car. But I think maybe normal service could resume. Although saying that, it was only just turned down, like one volume button on your speaker or something, or on your phone or whatever. But we had everything. We still had some good moves. We still had some interesting Epic Vale defending. I think I'll put it mildly. Tune in again next week for the same.
Definitely. Let's hope the controversy in the incredible battles continue on through it. And, well, 2 rounds remaining, 50 points maximum still up for grab. And if at the end of the Stewards' inquiries, Volakongan, Silo and Snack are all involved with, all still within that 50 points of Uncle, then who knows what can hold for this title battle towards the end. It has been an incredible season so far, action throughout, and anything can happen. Join us next week for the continuation of this mystery season. But for now, from Bobbits and myself, thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.